Listeners, NerdWallet wants you to let them do the work for you. Looking for auto insurance? The Nerds will match you with top providers in your area in just a few questions. So getting the right rate for you is as simple as going to nerdwallet.com. After all, letting NerdWallet do the work is more than smart. It's genius. Not all applicants will qualify for the lowest monthly payments. NerdWallet Insurance Services Incorporated. California resident license number OK92033. The Rachel Hollis Podcast is proudly sponsored by Amica Insurance. As Amica says, empathy is our best policy. That's why they'll go above and beyond to tailor your insurance coverage to best fit your needs. Whether you're on the road, at home, or traveling along life's journey, their friendly and knowledgeable representatives will work with you to ensure that you have the right coverage in place. Amica will provide you with peace of mind. Go to amica.com to get a quote today. It is really hard to acknowledge that people you love very much and that people you trust very much might be here for the wrong reasons. But it is way more painful to go through an experience where you think you have a community and you think you have support, and all of a sudden, no one's around. Better to build your house, your foundations solidly. Better to have one or two fantastic friends. Better to have no friends at all and trust and love and focus on yourself than to build a community of people who are going to drag you down energetically. Hi, I'm Rachel, and in this show, we talk about everything. Life and work, health and healing, relationships with others and with ourselves. These are stories for the seekers. These are conversations for the curious. This is the Rachel Hollis Podcast. Hi guys, it's Rach. Welcome to another episode of the podcast and another creation on the part of me and Jack and everyone who works here to try and bring you some information that is going to help you today. And I'm starting off with that little caveat because I don't know exactly what we're going to title this episode. I tend to come up with the topic and then come up with the title later. And I have some ideas around the title, which all feel really harsh. I think that I want to go with my instinct, which is something along the lines of 5 harsh truths you need to know so that you can stop being a doormat. But that sounds so mean and so rude. And I never want to say something that's triggering or that makes you feel bad, but I don't know another way to say this. And it's something I wish someone would have told me a very long time ago. I like to imagine that as you're sitting there listening to this, if you've hung out with me for a long time, when I just said that, you were like, Rachel, what are you talking about? How could you be a doormat? I like to think that somewhere someone thought that. You were like, man, you're confident and like you've got your stuff together. I can't imagine you ever being a doormat. I maybe am projecting the vision I hope you have on me. And as I sit here today, 42 years old, I would agree. I know I'm very confident. I don't allow myself to be pushed around. I hold boundaries very firmly in place. I don't allow people into my life who are jerks. I've got all of that down. But a younger version of me definitely didn't. And that was the impetus for this conversation today, mixed with something I saw on social media. I was on TikTok last night because I have a TikTok account that I'm very bad at. Thank you to the 12 of you who follow at RachTalk on TikTok. I'm trying to get better, But I thought the other day, if I want to get better at this platform, I need to be better about consuming the content that is on TikTok so I can understand what's the vibe. And so I was just scrolling through and I was seeing all sorts of stuff. And I saw this video. It was kind of a phrase I'd never heard before, but like a great little thing that someone said. Beautiful gal gets on there and she's like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you need to stop being so considerate for people who are not even considering you. And I was like, oh, that's catchy. That's cute. And it's TikTok. So it had like 1 bajillion views. And I was like, good for you, sis. I keep scrolling. 4 minutes later, totally different woman, totally different age, totally different style, says, hey, not sure who needs to hear this, but you need to stop being so considerate for people who are not considering you. And as a side note, I haven't consumed much of this platform, but I have lately tried to take stuff in. And I've seen this more and more. Is this just a thing? Like something does really well and then other people literally make the exact same video and just hope they'll get the views for people in their, I don't understand it. But I saw this now we've got an older woman. She's saying the same thing. Keep on scrolling. Guess what comes through my feed? I don't know who needs to hear this, but you need to stop being so considerate of people who are not considering you. And I was like, wow, great little saying. But the fact that 3 different women have done this same video, which means that probably lots more than that have, and I just haven't seen them yet, and that those 3 videos have millions of views, means that this idea is really resonating with people. So when I saw that term, I was like, ooh, that's a good concept. And it's not really something that I had when I was younger. And I would have never called myself a doormat because I always have been pretty sure of myself, pretty confident. But I think that a lifetime steeped in people pleasing really can set you up to accidentally let a lot of people into your life who are there for the wrong reasons. I think that when you have been taught to please everyone around you, that becomes your default mode and you don't really step outside of it to ask yourself if someone's intentions are good. I am not a doormat, but OMG, I have picked the worst friends at times. I have picked the worst partners at times. I have picked the worst coworkers, the worst employees. Like I have made such bad decisions in allowing people into my life based on 2 big factors. I want people to like me, gag, die. I wish at 42 I really didn't care, but I would love it if someone was like, oh, you can have a wish and everyone on the planet thinks that you're nice. I would be like, that would be amazing. I wish that I did not care. I truly wish I didn't, but I want people to like me. And I work through it in therapy and I know it doesn't serve me and I'm getting better and better and closer to the version of myself. I like to think like, maybe when I'm in my late 40s or my 50s, by then I'm like, it's fine. But because I want people to like me, and that's like an ongoing thing I've had since childhood, and because I assume that everyone's intentions are good, I have been taken advantage of so many times. So if you resonated with anything I just said, or maybe you heard the word doormat and you are like, that is me. I've got to stop letting people walk all over me. Today's episode is for you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. Let's do it. 5 harsh truths that you need to hear so you can stop being a doormat. And I say harsh truths because these sting a little bit, but they're real. The first harsh truth that you need to hear, I don't know who needs to hear this, but some people just aren't going to like you. Some people, you're not their jam. You are not their cup of tea. You are not their shot of whiskey. They are not interested in you. In fact, I'm going to go one step further and say, for whoever needs to hear this, your mother-in-law is never going to approve. The cool kids at school, never going to want you to be part of their friend group. The dream audience that you are trying to manifest over on YouTube, it's not going to show up. You need to stop chasing the people that were never meant for you. Some people just don't like you. And in fact, the more that you pursue your authentic self and the more you show up as yourself, the more people are not going to like you. And look, there's a whole population, a lot of people on this planet who are really happy being vanilla ice cream. They want to be vanilla ice cream. They're not maybe everyone's favorite, but they also don't offend people. They're just like, I'm fine, I'm here. Nobody's super upset with me except the lactose intolerant people, and they still will eat me because dairy's delicious, even if it upsets your stomach. Some people are super happy being vanilla ice cream. Vanilla ice cream never changed the world. Well-behaved women rarely make history. Have you heard that quote? If you want to do something interesting and compelling and exciting and memorable and legacy building with your life, and I assume that you do, or you wouldn't be hanging out listening to me talk, you cannot do that and have everyone think that you're great. You just can't. And so you need to accept right now that it is so normal for people not to like you. And as long as it's not you going out and like punching people in the face or kicking puppies or doing something mean that is getting you that opposition, if you're just living your life as yourself and just there's like a crew that doesn't get it, good for you. You are doing something right. But the truth that you are going to have to accept right now is that some people aren't going to get you, and that is the whole freaking point. You are wasting so much of your energy, so much of your life force, so much of your momentum and your motivation. You're wasting it all trying to convince the wrong people that you're the jam. The right people are going to get that you're awesome immediately. And I'm saying this to anyone who needs someone to shake their shoulders a little bit and ask why you are still spending so much energy trying to convince the wrong people that you're cool. I have a lot of history as a mama. My oldest is 18. My youngest is about to be 8, which means I've got a lot of time over 4 different children having kids chase the popular crowd. I have counseled children through this so many times. Different children, different attitudes, different perspectives, but I think it's pretty common human nature to chase the popular crowd. And my kids have always had friends, but I would never say that my kids were the most popular kids in school. Thank God, because that would actually be my nightmare. Because as far as I can tell from my time in school and today, the popular kids they're just basic. Sorry if your kid's the popular kid. I would way rather have the freaks and geeks. I would way rather have the artist kids. I'd way rather have the theater kids. I'd way rather have the kids who are super into their sport and not trying to go to the party on the week. That's just me. All of that to say, I've counseled my kids a lot over the idea of chasing the popular kids. And the thing I have said again and again and again, and this sounds like such a mom thing to hear, but it is true. I'm always like, be friends with everybody. Be kind to everybody. Be friends with anybody. Go into school every day. Hang out with the jocks. Say hi to the theater kids. Do some artwork with the art nerds. Go meet everybody and be friends with everybody, because that takes courage, and that courage will lead to confidence, and confidence is the thing that we're all trying to get to no matter what age we are. You have to have the courage and the confidence to be yourself and to go into situations not needing everyone to like you. There's this great quote, which I want to say is Stephen Covey. I think maybe all great quotes come from Stephen Covey originally, but there's this great quote that says there are two types of people in the world. There are the people who walk into the room and say, "Here I am." And there are the people who walk into the room and say, "Oh, there you are." Because it's not about them. They're about being for other people. There's a big difference in showing up for other people because you desperately want their approval and showing up for other people because you understand that you are an energy source for good. You're constantly putting love and light out into the world. So I just want you to be mindful about where in your life are you chasing approval? Are you trying to convince people that you're awesome? Are you trying to convince people to show up and do the thing and love you for who you are? Are you trying to twist yourself into a certain shape? Are you trying to squeeze your beautiful, incredible energy into this teeny tiny small box because that will be more acceptable to the people in your life? I really want you to ask yourself, where are you chasing that approval? Because if you want to start to stand firmly in yourself, a big part of that is understanding that you don't need anybody to get you. Celebrate your love story with a Valentine's Day surprise from Pandora Jewelry. I love having jewelry that helps me commemorate special times in my life. I have at least 5 bracelets on at all times that represent gifts from my kids or from my husband. And this Valentine's Day, let your heart guide you to the perfect gift. With Pandora, you can choose styles full of sparkle, heartwarming symbols, or different choices that help you capture every moment of your life together. Make the feeling last and make it personalized with an engraving or engravable jewelry. You can even use your own handwriting, guys. On Valentine's Day and every day, be love. Shop Pandora Jewelry today in store or online at pandora.net. Coming into the new year, it was time for a big reset for our family. We had so much fun over the holidays and we indulged in sugar and all the stuff we normally wouldn't have, which is why I love coming back into a routine with Thrive Market. Thrive Market lets you easily find trusted, family-friendly brands and shop based on your needs. So things like low sugar or gluten-free, organic or high protein, you can filter them without the hassle of grocery store trips. Plus, with the Healthy Swap scanner in the app, you can scan a product you already buy and get instant recommendations for cleaner, healthier alternatives. Ready for a junk-free start to 2025? Head to thrivemarket.com/Rach and you'll get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/Rach. thrivemarket.com/Rach. I wanted to add a little caveat on this one to go along with the idea that some people are just never going to approve. Some people are never going to like you, but some of those same people absolutely love the fact that you keep trying to twist yourself into knots to get them to approve of you. Some people are stringing you along because they like the fact that you are working so hard to get into their good graces. This is something that happened with one of my kids. He wanted so badly to be part of the popular kids club, and he kept changing the way he dressed, changing the way he talked, changing his hair, doing everything that he could to try and get into this group of friends. And I finally was like, babe, they don't like you. They don't. They don't invite you anywhere. They ask you to do all these favors for them. They're constantly getting you involved in drama. Like if you are just looking at their actions, not their words, these people are not trying to be your friends, but they love the fact that you desperately want to be friends with them. So just really be mindful of what energy is coming back at you and why it's coming back at you. The other red flag here is be very, very alarmed if you are in a relationship with someone whose people do not approve of you. And this partner expects you to earn their approval, or this partner expects you to ignore it. This partner expects you to let them treat you like crap, or expects you to keep trying to change yourself so that his mama will like you too. That is so dangerous. You should be so worried if you have a partner whose family or friends actively make you feel less than, but that partner doesn't do anything to change the situation. You should not feel safe with someone who doesn't make sure you are safe in all of their spaces. Okay, harsh truth number 2. Some people are just using you. Some people are just using you. This one is really hard to comprehend if you are not a user. If it would never occur to you to use someone for their access or their resources or the fact that they can watch your kids, if you don't think that way, it's very hard to see when someone is doing that to you. It's like me telling my son, these kids don't actually want to be your friends. Some people are just using you. And I would love to share some red flags that people are using you. This can be family, this can be friends, this can be coworkers, your boss, your partner, anybody. Here are some signs that people are using you. They are not here for the right reasons. They are not your friends. They are using you for what you can give them access to. Number 1, they are constantly asking you for favors and never returning them. In fact, because you're struggling with standing up for yourself, you've probably never even asked them to return the favor. But look at your relationships right now and ask yourself, how often have you poured out energy or money or time or emotion into a relationship and it is not reciprocated at all? In fact, have you ever actually asked for something to be reciprocated? Hey, Sarah, would you mind watching my kids? I watch yours all the time and I have to run a quick errand. It'd be so much easier if I didn't have to take the kids. Would it be cool if they came and played with your kids for an hour? Just see if the exact same favor this person asks you for is returned. Number 2, they disappear as soon as you set a boundary. They disappear as soon as you set a boundary. You say, you know what, I can't do that anymore. Poof, it's like a ghost. All of a sudden they're gone. You don't hear from them because you actually stood up for yourself. Users are really good at finding people to use, and they also want to be able to use with the simplest route to get what they want. They don't want to put a lot of effort into this. So when you start erecting boundaries and all of a sudden people fall to the wayside, it's a signal that they didn't actually want the whole of you. They didn't want the confident version of you. They wanted the pushover. Number 3, they only praise you when you are doing something that they want you to do. The only time you're going to get praise is when you are showing up for them in the exact way that they want you to. And again, if you were raised to be a people pleaser, you get really good at figuring out how to get that praise from that person because it reaffirms for you like, oh, look, she really is my best friend. Oh, look, my in-laws do actually approve of me. Oh, look, I'm succeeding in the ways that they want me to. But are you ever getting approval for just being yourself? Are you ever getting support and love for just existing? Or are you only getting support when you perform in the exact way they want you to? Number 4, and this is huge, 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 huge sign that you are being used by someone. Do you feel drained when you leave their company? Do you feel drained when you leave their company? Because people who are using you, it's like an energy vampire. You go into a space with them, even a space that should be fun. And for some reason, when you leave, you just feel exhausted. You feel tired. You feel maybe worse about yourself, or maybe you feel like you've been triggered in some way. Pay attention. Always, always, always pay attention to the way you feel when you are with someone in their presence. Do you feel better or worse? Our body is always talking to us. Even when our brain will convince us that what we're thinking is not true, our body always knows what's up. So listen to what your body is telling you when you have interactions with people. The 5th sign that you know that someone is using you, they're fair weather friends. They are only showing up when you are paying the bill, when you are planning the trip, when you are doing the thing, when you are hiring, when you are having the party, but it is never reciprocated. Oh, I have experienced this so much in friendships as an adult. And it makes me so sad to say that, but I have so many times where I was so excited, where I thought, oh my gosh, this person is my best friend, or these are really close friends, or these are coworkers that I love so much, or these are people in my industry that like I found and connected with. And there's this great thing I've seen on social media that has been so helpful, which is if you are worried that your friends are fair weather friends, that they're only here for the good time, that they're actually not returning anything back energetically, stop texting and see how long it takes them to text you. It is such a bummer when you do this and you realize, oh my gosh, it was always me. It was always me calling. It was always me checking in. It was always me inviting them. It was always me picking up the tab. It was always me doing them favors. It was always me. It was always me. And the second that you're not reaching out, there is no friendship because they were never your friends. They were just here for a good time. What a bummer. But also what a bummer to be in relationships with people who are there for the wrong reasons. So be really mindful of why people are in your life. Because if you're having a good time, let's say you've got like Sarah and Rob and they're such a fun time and they're the highlight of every party and everyone loves them and it's great and you feel so lucky that you get to be friends with them. And undercover, like behind the scenes, Sarah and Rob are just fair weather friends who like the fact that you're doing all of these things for them. But you don't know that, and you're just like having a good time and you keep showing up and pouring yourself out because you don't know any other way to be. Even if these people aren't actively like hurting you or they're not gossiping about you, they're not like intentionally doing something to mess you up, energetically or vibrationally, having people in your life where it is a complete mismatch in why the two of you are in this relationship is super dangerous. I have a friend right now who started dating someone and she sort of knew this person was no good, but it was like bad boy complex. She liked it, okay? And I knew that she liked it. I knew she was into the bad boy thing. I'm like, whatever, like you're an adult, live your life, have some fun. That was a couple months ago, and now we found out this guy actually is super bad news. Not just like a little bit of a bad boy, not just like I'm riding a Harley and wearing a leather jacket, but like really bad. Now that person's in a lot of trouble. And she is dealing with the ramifications of the fact that this person is way worse than she thought they were. When I found out about this, what I thought was, oh man, what is going on with her that she attracted someone who, first of all, was lying about who they were, that she was attracted to something she sort of thought was bad, but then undercover, they were way, way worse. We don't attract what we want in this life. We attract what we are. So I don't believe it is possible for my friend to attract someone at that vibrational level with so much toxicity going on if on some level she doesn't believe that that's the best she can hope for. Energies will always find each other. Vibrational frequencies will always find each other. So I just want you to like hold space for this for a second. Imagine that there's a scale from 1 to 100, 100 being the most enlightened version of humanity and 0 being a sea slug. My girlfriend, who is amazing, beautiful, dream girl, everybody loves her. She's so freaking fabulous. Imagine she comes to me and she says, let's say dream girl, fabulous. She's at a vibrational level of 80, totally making this up. And she comes to me and she says, I found this guy. He's super hot. Yes, he's a bad boy. Rach, like, I know I'm an 80 and he's like a 55, but whatever, I'm just having fun. Cool. This is her journey. She gets to do what she wants to do. But hold space for this. My friend, who I think of as level 80, she says she wants to make out with this boy who's level 55. Well, it turns out this guy is like 30. He's really far down vibrationally. He's way down here, way worse than we thought. Very, very unhealthy. What I am telling you, it is impossible for my friend to vibrationally actually be at level 80 if she is attracting someone into her life who is that much lower than she is. It means that on some level, she believes that she's worth something down here. It is really hard to acknowledge that people you love very much and that people you trust very much might be here for the wrong reasons. But it is way more painful to go through an experience where you think you have a community and you think you have support, and all of a sudden, no one's around. Better to build your house, your foundations solidly. Better to have one or two fantastic friends. Better to have no friends at all and trust and love and focus on yourself than to build a community of people who are going to drag you down energetically. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. There's so many fun memes on social media, so many conversations about things like red flags, beige flags, but what about green flags? Meaning, what about understanding and unpacking what would really matter to you in a relationship? Not just with a romantic partner, but also with your friends. Whether you're dating, married, building a friendship, or just working on yourself, it's time to form relationships that love you back. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. They have access to a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Rach to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Rach. The New Balance 1080 is the ultimate daily trainer, combining reliable comfort and top-tier performance. I live in my sneakers. I use them to walk around the block, to run around my neighborhood, and to get all the chores done in a day that I need to as a working mom. So whether you're logging miles or running errands, the 1080 seamlessly transitions from the coffee shop to the grocery store, to the podcast studio, or wherever else you've got to get things done. The New Balance 1080 features a cushioned midsole for secure support and comfort, while the totally lightweight, breathable mesh upper keeps your feet cool and fresh on every run. Shop the 1080 at newbalance.com. Harsh truth number 3, for those of you who are working on not being a doormat: nice is not the same as respected. In fact, nice and respected rarely go together. Some of you want to be respected, and you are trying to achieve it by being nice, and you're never going to get there. People respect clarity. People respect confidence. People respect someone who stands up for themselves. Being nice is people pleasing. Let me clarify. When I say nice, I don't mean like being kind to the barista, being a good citizen, letting people into traffic. I'm not talking about how you go about in the world. I'm talking about relationships, business, at the office. Are you trying to be nice or are you trying to be respected? Because if someone is trying to get out of being used, trying to get out of being a doormat, then this is one of the first areas I would tell them to look at. Let me give you an example. Story time. I just finished up a book tour. I just finished up a book tour for my newest book, What If You Are the Answer, which I hope you guys all have. You can get it on audio. You can grab it anywhere. The entire book is 26 different questions that you can ask yourself to better know yourself. And there are a lot of them in there for some people pleasers. If you are getting something out of today's episode, I swear to you, you are going to get something out of this book. Go grab it on Audible if you like the sound of my voice, or get it wherever books are sold. So anyway, I've just finished up this book tour for the new book. In every stop on the book tour, you go to a bookstore and you are taken care of by the incredible staff at this bookstore. Sometimes it's 2 people, sometimes it's 10 people. Depending on the bookstore, there's always a different setup. But inevitably, I show up to the bookstore early and I sign all of the books. So I pre-sign my signature, XO Rach, and then I give a talk, I do a live Q&A, and then everyone at that event comes through the signing line. And when they come through the signing line, I sign the book to them. So if you came through, you're Jack, I've pre-signed the book, you come through the signing line and I'm like, Jack. So it looks like it's just a way to do it much faster. All of that to say, I usually get there about an hour early because I'm signing hundreds of books in advance. And I am usually in the bookstore employee staff room, because they rarely have somewhere else to put me. So I'm sitting in the staff room. So people are coming in and out as I'm signing all of these books. And the people who are coming in and out are used to authors being there signing books, so they don't really pay me any mind. On one particular day, I was signing books and there was a group of people who came in. I'm going to guess they're in their 20s. They're working at the store. They come in, 4 or 5 people. They're chatting, great energy, cool vibe, chatting, laughing, doing their thing. I'm just sort of like, oh, look at these fabulous people. No big deal. They're in there for about 10 minutes or so. And another woman comes into the break room who is more our age, if you're my age. So she's in her 40s, late 40s maybe. And the group of people who is in the room, they're younger. So I'm going to say late teens, early 20s. She comes into the staff room and she goes up to one of the young women and she says, I'm making up a name. Chloe's my favorite name for young women. So she says, Chloe, there's nobody at the cash register. And Chloe has been chatting with her friends. I know this because I'm there, right? Like I've been signing books. Chloe's been chatting with her friends for a hot minute. And Chloe's like, I know, I'm going. And the woman says, I know that you're going, but the store is open and no one is at the cash register. So there are people waiting and you are the cash register person and there's no one at the cash register. And she's like, I'm trying to get my walkie on. Like basically like taking her time and pushing back on this woman I later realized was the store manager about needing to be at the cash register at the start of her shift. And the manager says something to the effect of, the shift started at this time and it's now like 10 minutes after you were meant to be at the cash register. I'm telling you this whole story because what I found wild to witness was that this young woman kept pushing back about being able to take her time. And I remember being a teenager. I remember those feelings of like, this manager doesn't get it. Who cares if I'm not at the cash register? It's only 10 minutes. It's not that big a deal. And she kept pushing back against this manager and doing it in front of the rest of the staff. And I was like, whoa, this is fascinating. And I could tell that the manager was very frustrated, but also not wanting to cause a scene, not wanting to be overly rude. And it is the best example I could think of today as we're talking about the difference between being nice and being respected. I'm going to tell you some ideas for how you can focus on being respected instead of just nice. But before I do, I have to take a quick moment for those of you who are managers or parents, or you are leading people younger than you. Because if I was giving advice to this manager, this is what I would tell her to do. A big thing with someone who is younger, especially if maybe it's their first real job or one of the earlier jobs in their career, is they don't understand why it matters. For Chloe, it's 10 minutes. Like, what's the big deal? It's just 10 minutes. Chloe doesn't understand that a lot can happen at a cash register if nobody's down there to check people out. Number one, people could steal things. Number two, people can start to associate this store as a place where nobody's actually working and nobody cares. Number three, people could need help and there's no one there to assist them. Number four, it starts to erode the values that we set as a company. We say that we're going to open at this time. Well, when we open and people walk into our store, we need to know that someone's going to be there. My instinct is that Chloe was told this is the time you need to be somewhere, but nobody ever explained to her why it mattered. And if you explain to your employees or your children or your students why a value matters to you as the leader, and they don't share the value, they either need to fake that they share the value, like, okay, I don't get why this matters, but I'm going to do it because this is what my leader asked me to do, or they should not work with you. They should not be part of this team. You either have to go along with the value because you are holding space for the fact that I'm your leader and this is what we care about, or this is not the right fit for you, Chloe, because we're a place that when we say the doors are open and when we say that someone's going to be there to help customers, we keep our word. And I totally get that a lot of us were raised in cultures that said, you listen to mama and daddy, or you listen to the voice of authority and you don't get a say and you don't get to question authority and you don't get to ask why. But explaining to someone why you hold those values is actually one of the most respectful things you can do for a coworker. So if you explain it and they still can't show up in the way that they say they will, well, they're not the right fit for you. But Dave Ramsey always says to be unclear is to be unkind. So you're trying to be nice by not causing issue with Chloe in front of everybody, but have you set her up for success by being very clear on what you expect? Hey, Chloe, you don't have to agree with the fact that at this exact time you need to be at the cash register. You don't have to agree with it, but you need to be there because we said that we would. Thank you for listening to my management coaching. Now let me tell you 3 things that you can do to focus on being respected instead of nice. And this does not mean, oh, you're suddenly going to be a super bitch and you're going to be a total jerk and you're going to tell everyone what to do. No, that is not what we are aiming at. Respect is something that is earned. But if you are moving through life desperately trying to get everyone to like you, I'm willing to bet that very few people respect you. Here's 3 quick things that you can do to get more respect instead of trying to be nice. Number 1, stop over-explaining. Say what you want to say and then leave it. When you start to over-explain your why, you give people space to debate with you. Being confident is, this is exactly what I need. End of story. Or, no, I'm not going to be able to do that this weekend. End of story. Do not explain your why. They don't deserve your why. You are standing firm in who you are and stating what you need. Remember, the more you explain, soften, or justify your response, the more room you leave them to argue with you. And if you are someone who's already trying to people please, chances are you're not very good at confrontation. So the second they start arguing, you're going to buckle. Teach yourself to say it and then stop talking. Number 2, use the broken record technique. When people push your boundaries, when they keep trying to convince you or keep trying to get you to change your mind about what you've just said, be a broken record. Just keep repeating the same thing. I'm sorry, that's not going to work for me. wait, but you always do this. You always take the kids for me on the weekend. And I'm sorry, that's not going to work for me. This is fantastic. If you are ever dealing with a narcissist, by the way, have you heard the term gray rock syndrome? You act like a gray rock. Just keep repeating the same thing over and over. At some point, they're going to get tired and they're going to stop arguing with you. Number 3, drop the nervous laugh and the upward inflection. Your body language, your tone of voice, the way that you say things indicates how assertive you're being. And you might be unintentionally making yourself seem like a pushover or totally being a pushover by the way you are saying something. So I know a lot of you women especially have been sort of trained to giggle when you're feeling nervous. So you will say something and then you'll giggle after you say it, like, no, I'm not able to do it, but I feel so bad. Like, I really want to. Or using upward inflection that turns your statement into a question. No, I'm not able to do it this weekend. No, I'm not able to do it this weekend. They're two completely different feels. Being mindful of what your body language is projecting to someone else. So are you closing yourself off? Are you being insecure? Or are you standing firmly in what it is you are trying to say? When in doubt, make sure you are ending your sentences with a period and not a question mark. This is a really hard thing to learn to do. When we're younger and we use the word like every 3 seconds and like every sentence. But then as we get older, we train ourselves to speak without sounding like we're 15. It's a practice like anything else. So just make sure that you are remaining mindful of these things as you go through interactions, especially with people who tend to push past your boundaries. And if you don't feel comfortable having conversations with those people in person, start with text messages or emails, but make sure you say it in as short a sentence as possible so you don't leave room for debate. The 4th harsh truth that you need to hear so you can stop being a doormat is that you teach people how to treat you. It's so brutal. Because if you are in a relationship right now with someone who is not treating you well, it sucks. It sucks to hear that you are the problem. But what do we always say? If you are the problem, you are also the solution. That's a good thing. So be mindful of the fact that, yes, you got yourself here, but because you got yourself here, you can get yourself out of it. You teach people how to treat you with the energy you put off, the body language you hold, the vibrational level that you're at, with the other people that you hang out with the way you say yes, no, thank you, please, with the way you ask for what you want, with the way you say what you will and will not accept. You teach people how to treat you. If someone is treating you badly and you keep showing up, you're teaching them that that is okay behavior. If someone did something awful to you and you forgave them over and over and over, if they say that they're sorry but their action doesn't change and you keep taking them back, that is on you. They have showed you exactly who they are. You teach people how to treat you. So if someone is walking all over you or taking advantage of you or using you and you continue to allow it, that is your choice. And look, there are times in my life where I absolutely accepted people I knew were not my real friends because I just wanted to have friends. When I first moved to LA and I didn't know anybody, I hung out with like the worst. Like super vapid, very full of themselves girls that I would never aspire to be like, but I just wanted someone to hang out with. If you know going in what the deal is, at least you can hold space and boundaries for yourself. But if you're 25 years into a relationship with a girl from high school and she's still treating you like crap, dude, it's time to break up with your friend. The 5th harsh truth I'm going to tell you about how to stop letting people treat you badly. And this one's a positive. You are never gonna find your people if you don't show up as yourself. There are people out there for you. And if there aren't people, if there aren't whole communities of people, maybe there is one amazing friend, one amazing life partner, one amazing lover, one amazing girlfriend, wife, boyfriend, someone out there for you. And you are never going to find them if you don't show up as yourself. Part of being a doormat, part of being a people pleaser is twisting yourself into a shape other than your own. It's about showing up in spaces where you think that you will be most likely accepted. It's about dressing a certain way and looking a certain way and having certain hobbies and saying certain things because you know that will win you love. But you're only going to attract the wrong people in those environments because you're the wrong person in that environment. If you want a life that feels good, if you want to heal and become more whole and become more confident and lean more fully into who you believe your creator made you to be, you have to take steps that lead you in the direction of who you actually are. It's wild to me when I say things like this. I always imagine that I'm talking to someone right now who is in the closet and they're too afraid to tell people that they're gay. Or I imagine that someone wants to make a huge life change and they're terrified to tell mom and daddy. Or maybe someone's listening to this and they know that the religion they were born into is not the religion that speaks to their heart and who they are now, and they want to go on to something else, but they're terrified for their community to know about it. That's who I think I'm talking to. I think that I'm saying this to people who want to make some massive, huge life change. And then I realized that for some people, the massive, huge life change is like wearing the color red. It's something that to me seems so simple, but for someone else, it's like insurmountable. I'm making up a story about the color red, but this happened at a book signing recently. Some woman said, like, I would love to wear your outfit. I was wearing an outfit that was just a little bit more funky. I mean, probably similar to what I'm wearing right now. Maybe not something that the moms in your community, she actually said this, like not the other moms at Target. She said, none of the other moms at Target would dress how you're dressed right now. I would love to dress how you dress. I would love to dress funky. I would love to be creative. I would love to put outfits together, but I'm afraid the other moms will judge me because I don't look like them. And she's saying this as she's wearing, a sweater and skinny jeans and ankle boots, like an outfit. She looked fab, but she's wearing an outfit that we've all seen 1 million times. And if that outfit makes you feel fabulous, amazing. If that outfit feels like you putting on a costume so that you can fit into whatever environment that isn't even the environment you would dig, what are you doing? Like, I'm over here telling you to be more authentically yourself, thinking that I'm talking to someone who needs to tell mom and daddy that their roommate, Steve, is actually their boyfriend of 5 years. That's who I think I'm talking to, but perhaps you're hearing this and you're like, well, I really want to shave my head. I really want to get hair extensions. I really want to get a tattoo on my neck. I really want to do this thing. You need to hear someone say, it's really not that big a deal. She's like, what if the other moms in my town saw me wearing this outfit at Target? And I was like, what if your dream best friend is at Target that day and she or he is also wearing a fabulous, stylish outfit, and they see you and they're like, thank God there's another one in this city. And all of a sudden you find your people because you showed up as yourself. Maybe you need to take a big, authentic swing in the direction of who you are. Maybe you need to just do the smallest, little, tiniest thing this week to give yourself a little courage. But I just really want to speak to anybody who is desperately trying to convince the popular kids, the other moms, the old ladies at church, their in-laws, that they're cool and right and awesome. It's a waste of your time and energy. So much better to be yourself and find people who love you for you. I hope that this conversation today was helpful to you. If it was, please, please, please consider sharing with someone you think would dig it too. We will be back soon with more conversation. And until next time, as always, I love you and I'm rooting for you. The Rachel Hollis Podcast is produced by me, Rachel Hollis. It's edited by Andrew Weller and Jack Noble. The New Balance 1080 is the ultimate daily trainer, combining reliable comfort and top-tier performance. I live in my sneakers. I use them to walk around the block, to run around my neighborhood, and to get all the chores done in a day that I need to as a working mom. So whether you're logging miles or running errands, the 1080 seamlessly transitions from the coffee shop to the grocery store, to the podcast studio, or wherever else you've got to get things done. The New Balance 1080 features a cushioned midsole for secure support and comfort, while the totally lightweight, breathable mesh upper keeps your feet cool and fresh on every run. Shop the 1080 at newbalance.com.
Okay, business leaders, are you here to play or are you playing to win? If you're in it to win, meet your next MVP, NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is your full business management system in one convenient suite. With NetSuite, you're running your accounting, your finance, your HR, your e-commerce, and more, all from your online dashboard. Upgrade your playbook and make the switch to NetSuite, the #1 cloud ERP.
Get the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/podcast25. netsuite.com/podcast25.